Nice save. Amirah shook her head at her cheeky assistant and ambled back into her office, pondering what Rachel had said. Maybe the girl was right. Perhaps she did need to ease up a bit on her clients. After all, Amirah ran the most prominent and elite dating agency in the country that prided itself on finding their clients the perfect match. How could she promise that when she was, in fact, probably trying to match all the women with her perfect match? That is when it hit her. It had been way too long since she had a reasonable date, let alone anything else. She looked at her slim gold wristwatch. It was time to call it a day. Besides, she could do with a pair of new shoes and a matching purse. She looked down at the elegant heels she had on. Maybe red. She liked burgundy, but that was last week's color. Good night, Rachel. Amirah breezed past her assistant, not wanting to get the third degree about her plans, or that maybe she needed a good night out from the girl. Be a good girl and lock up for me? She smiled as she stepped into the elevator that only serviced her floor. It was basically always waiting for her when she needed it. Before Rachel had time to respond, the doors slid shut and the elevator started its descent to the ground floor. As it went down, Amirah felt a bit frustrated by the day's events. Yes, maybe she should not try and force her woman's empowerment agenda on her clients. But a lot of the women who lived in this day and age did not know how fortunate they were. Amirah had often wanted to be able to let them know just how damn lucky they were. She could tell them horrible tales of being a 14-year-old girl in the 16th century. As Amirah browsed the store for a leather handbag to match her new pair of handmade Italian pumps, her keen senses once again picked up a scent. It was the same one that had been on her tail since she had left her office. Granted, it was subtle and really well masked, making her think that whoever it was that was following her was a pro. In fact, she had actually considered at one stage during her shopping spree, she imagined it. She probably would not have picked up the scent at all, except this one was very distinct. Her hair prickled at the back of her neck. She felt decidedly uneasy, a feeling she had not felt since. She shuddered, squashing the urge to take a trip down that particular memory lane. There was only one thing to do here, and that was to slip her shadow. Not giving away that she knew she was being followed, Amirah continued wandering about the shopping center, browsing the shop windows. She even popped into a few, for good measure, before stopping at a mobile coffee shop and getting a latte before making her way to the ladies. She sighed as she ducked into the end stall by the window and slipped off her burgundy heels. Not that they would have hindered her escape, but she did not feel like ruining her favorite shoes. She tested the window, which was sealed shut, but it was no problem for her. With a thump, it popped right open. She skillfully edged her way through it and ducked over the rooftops to her apartment, with her tail still waiting back in the mall. Amirah placed a warm, relaxing mask over her amber eyes and lay back on her couch with a glass of Merlot next to her. She took a deep breath and willed her long, lithe, subtle body to relax. She never really needed to sleep, but scaling buildings did take a bit more effort, not to mention what the stress of not being seen did to a vampire. She also needed to think about the events of the day, such as rethinking her work strategy and why she was being followed. Or, more importantly, who was following her.